to run them in squads of 2, which would be really cool because then they'd be like the, oh god, the Heronkin debilitators or whatever the shit those, little Capricus defenders, the Voton little skiffs.
Oh, the sort of three. I was going to
Oh,
say three-wheeled, but they're not. You
The-
know, the hover trike.
the,
The
yeah,
hover
Yeah.
trike,
like, the green
The
machine.
Yeah, but like the transport version, those slightly bigger ones. Not the bikes. But yeah, I wanted to maybe like run them in like squads of 1 to 2, kind of like how Sentinels can. So
Hi everybody, how you doing today? Local prophetic Brick here, currently scrying the future, scrying 1 and then putting it at the bottom of my deck. Very curious as to some of the new things shown to us today on the Warcom article, Astra Militarum Rules Revealed, Commissar Graves and New Vehicles. Turns out that Commissar Yarrick might be a cool guy, but he don't swing as fast or as powerful as the ladies do. And I mean that literally because, wow, there is a lot happening on this particular set of data sheets. Yeah, so we, sorry, this is a double video today because my timing was all screwed up, and would you look at that, we have a bunch of new stuff for the new vehicles. So you may have seen in the Adepticon preview and various things that there are some new guard vehicles that have come out. You've got Commissar Graves both on her Mr. Plow, Homer Simpson mobile, as well as the foot version, the Centaur, as well as the Hippogriff. And they have come out, and they are actually rather interesting. Now, of course, we do not know the points for these things yet, nor do we know if these rules will stick the way they are in 11th edition. I'm going to assume they will be pretty close because 11th is not like 9 through 10th. This is a 10.5 type edition. This is normal for 40K. This happens quite often. And so we're a little bit curious on how this necessarily is going to run. But I feel like it'd be really cool to start off and see what we got going on here. Now, they start off with Commissar Graves, but we're not going to start off with Commissar Graves. In fact, we're going to go from bottom to top. So we're going to start off all the way at the very bottom because this is something that I think is, it gets more interesting as time goes on. Now, the first thing that they showed off for, or that we're going to talk about, is the Hippogriff AFV, Armored Fighting Vehicle. Now, as I joked about in the beginning of this little video, I assumed it would be a little bit like the Capricus Defenders, and oh boy, if that isn't extremely true. The data sheets are actually wildly similar. So the Capricus Defender on the Voton, if you're not familiar with that, it's a little gun platform kind of like mini bike, or bigger than a normal bike, I'd say. And it has, move 12, T7, 4-up, 7 wounds, Deadly Demise, Scout, and then you can pick either a rotary cannon or a Magna Rail cannon, as well as the twin coil auto cannon as well. It also has smoke, and then you can run them in sets of 1 to 2 with a reactive move. Now, in a very different world, the Hippogriff has the same movement, save, wounds, leadership, and OC, as well as being ran in 1 to 2s. And it has Deadly Demise 1 as well as a shoot and scoot move. Did I say reactive? I meant shoot and scoot. So yeah, basically these are nearly identical data sheets. The only major difference here is the fact that the Hippogriff has 1 higher toughness, a T8, where these are T7. The Capricus Defenders fly. These do not. These already have smoke in them, so that's fine or whatever. And then they don't have Scout 9. So the Capricus Defenders are a little bit faster with their Scout. However, they are a little bit weaker with their T7, where the Hippogriff has 3-up save. So it's the guard one is tankier. The Capricus Defender is faster, and it has fly, of course. They have the same move and shoot ability as each other. As the usual, don't declare a charge, etc., and they can be ran in 1 to 2, Deadly Demise 1. So they're very, very similar. However, I would be of the opinion that the Hippogriff is a bit better than the Capricus Defender in a couple of ways. While the Capricus Defender is a lot more movement-oriented, normally you don't take the Capricus Defenders, you take the Capricus Carriers because those are movement-oriented transports as opposed to gun platforms. Now, obviously with guard, guns are a lot of fun, and both units hit on 4s. The Capricus Defenders have better guns overall Just the things that they fire are straight up stronger. However, the Hippogriff makes up for that with assault on everything. So what does the Hippogriff have? Well, it either can take a heavy stubber or a meltagun. Normally, people just take the meltagun almost every time, but I think there is actually a genuine reason to take the stubber because the meltagun is, of course, only 12-inch range, and it depends on how you're going to be using the Hippogriff as a unit. The main reason for that is because it actually has quite a few guns. It has 4 main turrets. You have a Chiron Gatling cannon, which is 12 shots at 501, 24 inches. You have a heavy las cannon, which is 1 shot at 12.3 D6 plus 1, which is, I think, just basically just a regular ass las cannon. I'm a little bit uncertain why it's called the heavy las cannon. Does the field ordnance battery have, because don't they have a heavy las cannon? Isn't that their shtick? Is they have a little bit of more of a powerful las cannon? Because I'm pretty sure that's just a las cannon. The one on the Hippogriff, that is. Heavy las cannon. That's so strange. So his heavy las cannon is assault 12.3 D6 plus 1, but their heavy las cannon is heavy 2 shots at 14 D6 plus 1. Odd. It's basically just a las cannon. Whatever. Anyway, it's a las cannon. Then you have the Melta cannon, which is basically actually, it's just a multi-melta. It is actually just a multi-melta, but with assault. And then you have the Vigilator cannon, which is 812 at D6 shots blast. Personally, I actually really like all of these options. I think they all have a decent use case. The main thing is that they all have assault, right? And it can shoot and move. Granted, it can only move up to D6 after it shoots, which means that, it's probably like this big, but it's still a tank of sorts, right? I guess not a tank, it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle, whatever. It's a vehicle of sorts. And so if you roll like a 1 or a 2, you're really not going that far. Maybe you can use it to try to punk objectives or maybe try to move block people. But even then, it's a little bit odd for that one. I don't think you're going that far. And so I can see a couple uses actually for the Hippogriff. Obviously, if you run them in squads of 2, you get better stratagem and order support as well. That's very important because a take aim order would affect 2 of them, which is obviously very good. But it depends on what you're aiming for. I could see a situation where you can put a couple of them in the back line and lob Vigilator shots or las cannon shots down the lane. I can also see a world where you stick the Melta gun and the Melta cannon and then you run them up really fast to do as much damage as you can. I could actually genuinely see a chaff clearing version of this where you do the Chiron Gatling cannon and the heavy stubber. Because when you look at that, the combination of the 2 of them, that is about 18 shots at 501 and 401. Give them take aim. Maybe you're in Grizzled, so they're hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. Like, that is a chaff clearer, and that's on 1. 2 of these bastards is 36 chaff shots. Now, personally, while they don't have the same movement or weapon power as the Capricus Defenders, for example, their Vigilator cannon is D6 812, where the Defender is flat 6 shots, 612 with sustained hits 1, which I would argue is better. Their Magna Rail Rifle is also better than the las cannon. They don't have advance, they don't have assault, and the Hippogriff does have a bit of a tougher profile. So I think it really depends on how they're going to be pointed. The points will obviously make this. I can totally see maybe 2 cheap ones that just kind of roll up and cause problems. I can see a squad of them that are all like Melta cannons and Melta guns that are actually, I won't lie, the Melta one would be probably pretty good in combined arms, getting lethals on all those Melta shots. But I can also see a lot of really good gunfire coming out from all of the chaff things. I think most of this is pretty good. The only thing that I would imagine you would not really take is the Vigilator cannon because of the AP1, but in 11th edition, when cover no longer gives you a cover save instead of ballistic skill 1, the Vigilator cannon might be better for that reason. But I will say these things are blitzingly fast. That's the one big thing, is that while the Capricus might be faster, sort of, in terms of you can move them up with scouts and they have fly. They're more they're more like, I don't know how you would say it. I guess a bit more, not interactive, but flexible. They're more flexible. Whereas, I guess they're more flexible. Whereas for guard, it's a bit more of like a blunt weapon, which is like, yeah, all right, here's the Hippogriff AFV. Give it move, move, move. It goes 15 inches, and then you advance it. So now it goes up to 21 inches of movement. And then after you shoot it, you can move it another 6, maybe, for a maximum total of 27 inches of movement on these things. Like, this is just okay, here's my little quick fighting vehicles. Go. And maybe you rip a bunch. Like, I mean, imagine if you're an Eldar player and you see 2 of these guys with a like just a squad of 2. I don't know. Let's say they're a little more expensive than the Capricus, because I think they should be a bit more. Let's say they're like 180. Maybe not. Maybe 180. Maybe 170 or something like that for 2 of them. We'll go around there. Let's just make a guess, right? 180, 170, 160, around there. Can you imagine the fear of like, all right, here they come, and then they move like 21 inches, and then like, all right, I got 36 shots coming your way. All of these are wounding you on 3s. Like, I mean, that's horrifying. It's genuinely horrifying on what that could mean, and also pretty goofy. Also, no, tank shock is a model, not a combination. And then they got their armored hull as well. They can't. Actually, I don't think there's like any advance in charge and guard. At least I don't think there's any advance in charge and guard. I can't think of anything. Oh well. But yeah, the Hippogriffs seem pretty interesting. They might just be like a long range lob shots. They might be a chaff clear. They might be melt a thing. Like if they're 160 or something, I could totally see running 2 squads of 2. And like 1 squad is pure melta, 1 squad is pure chaff killing. I think you probably won't take the las cannon maybe and the vigilator depending, because those are kind of go in the back lob shot situations. However, I don't think it's enough shots. If they had like a hunter killer missile, or maybe their little stubber was also a las cannon, that might be an option. But being a las cannon and a stubber is a bit of a weird combination, you know? But they're fun. They're simple, they're fun, they're kind of goofy. I like them. Okay, the next one is the Centaur RSV, or Rapid Strike Vehicle. I'm actually a big fan of what they decided to do with this one. It's very interesting. So, it has a pintle-mounted heavy stubber, aka it's the classic 6 shots, pretty normal. It is a bit weaker in terms of the toughness at T7, but it still moves 12. It has a 3-up save, and it has 10 wounds, so it's actually pretty chunky. It's 1 wound less than a Lehman Russ. It has a bigger Deadly Demise, though, at D3, but it has firing deck 12. It can hold 12 models, Ogre taking up the space of 3, and you cannot transport artillery, which is fine. Good. But its ability is interesting. While 1 or more units are embarked within this model, unless this model is battle shocked, add 1 to its OC characteristic for every 3 models rounding down embarked within it. So if the Centaur has a full squad of 12, which is not super common, because that would normally mean like basically a squad of 10 and then 2 characters, which is probably not really going to happen too often. But it does mean that it's going to be like, hey, you will add around 3, maybe sometimes 4, but mostly 3 models OC to the OC of this thing all the way to 5, which is kind of funky. I know it's kind of an interesting rule. I like it. I'm particularly curious about what kind of shenanigans you can do with mechanized assault with that, because obviously they have disembark from the transport out 1 to the wound roll. But where is this is a transport normal move. And then this one is a embark within the transport after an opponent charges you. Are they wholly within? Provided your unit is not within engage range of 1 or more enemy units, and every unit is within 3 inches. Okay, so it is kind of wholly. There is that. And then there's also end of your opponent's turn, embark within a transport. Now, I'm not saying that it's particularly great in that realm, but there is a world, because like obviously if your infantry is on the board, especially the stuff you're running in the Centaur, which would be like Casterkin or Cadians. It's also a dedicated transport in case that wasn't noticed, so it will get the scout rule. So Kasrkin, Catachin, maybe Cadians, but probably Kasrkin or Catachins. The fact that it can then, scout 6 and then do that kind of thing. Obviously, putting your units on the battlefield is better OC-wise pretty much every time. However, the only adjustment there that is interesting is that maybe you can still out-OC something if they're in the Centaur. So you can kind of sit there and be like, yeah, well, I'm 5 OC if I got 3 more in there, maybe even 6. And you're putting 5, I don't know, like non-battle line guys over there. I can still at least hold it or take it from you in a way. So there's something there, especially with firing deck 12. I'd be curious to see what you could do with the firing deck with like Kasrkin, because I can see it being probably pretty good. I would assume this would be more expensive than it's got way fewer guns than the Chimera, but it's got a way larger firing deck than the Chimera, which therefore makes it have more guns, kind of, sort of. I imagine Kasrkin in here would actually be pretty good because the Scout's good, and then firing deck 12, especially because they're hitting on 3s. If you gave the Centaur take aim, all the Kasrkin are pretty sure hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s in Grizzled. And that's pretty good, So even if they don't want to get out of the vehicle, they can still like unleash a lot of volleys at somebody, which is really fun. So it's a neat looking vehicle. I don't know if I would really use it a ton. It's the one I'm the least excited about, but it's okay. It's okay. I bet it'll be a little bit more expensive than the Chimera, but not by much. Maybe like 5 or 10 points. All right. Now we have Commissar Graves. This is the best part. This is what you're here for. This is the funniest model out there. Absolutely hysterical model. In terms of rules, that is. The model itself is awesome. So this is a melee transport. Except it's not a transport, it's just a tank. Not a tank, it's a vehicle. It's a guard vehicle. This is a melee vehicle. It is so funny. So it's one epic hero, right? The Commissar Graves can issue one order to regiment or squadron units. It can only be move, duty and honor, and fixed bayonets. Now, most commissars can only ever do duty and honor and fixed bayonets. So it's basically the same thing, except Commissar Graves gets the move as well, which is a little bit of a bonus. Still no take aim or nothing, though. It is Deadly Demise D3, and it's a 12-inch move. It's T8. And then 3-up save with a 4-up invul. A little shocked to see a 4-up invul on this, not gonna lie. Did not see that coming. I guess because it's a major character vehicle or whatever the reason is, but kind of thought it would be like a 5-up invul, but maybe they really wanted you to have your big epic hero plot armor going on here, which like, I guess, but I don't know. I definitely thought it was gonna be a 5-up invul. 12 wounds, 6-up leadership, and an OC 5. So actually quite a bit of OC, but there are a lot of people in that tanks, or I keep calling it a tank. I just call all vehicles tanks. Vehicle, a lot of people in the vehicle. But from there, the abilities are, in your movement phase, each time a friendly Astra Militarum Regiment unit disembarks from a transport within 6 of this model, it can immediately issue a unit or an order to that regiment unit, regardless of how many orders this model has already issued this turn. Now, that's a fine idea sometimes. The problem is that it's what this model can order, which is only move, duty and honor, and fixed bayonets. I don't know if I really would be interested in giving someone duty and honor, maybe fixed bayonets, but it can't order Bullgrin. So it would really only be move, which means it would basically be get out, here's move, go run at somebody, which I guess is fine, but I don't know, there's kind of a lot of hoops to jump through with that one, and it might be a few too many hoops, all things considered. I guess you can say, no, it's only in your movement phase. So it is only in your movement phase. So, which means it would also only be good for when you disembark in the beginning. Like the transport doesn't move when you disembark. It is get out of the transport and then move. So it's okay. The other one is Brutal Disciplinarian. That's a weird word. Once per turn at the start of any phase, you basically pick a unit within 24 inches and blast them. and, kill a model, they're no longer battle shocked. The fact that it's 24 inches is really funny because it clearly means that she's not using a bolt pistol. She's clearly using her Chiron Gatling cannon to kill someone. So, she's a commissar. She's a commissar in a lot of ways. She is not going, all right, you within 12, blam. No. It's a 24-inch range and visible. She is firing her Gatling cannon at you to get you in line. She's doing a drive-by. She has drive-by cowardice detector. And not to mention the fact that it's a drive-by cowardice detector on, mind you, a Gatling cannon that is just mounted to the front like this with absolutely zero left, right, and up directions on that thing. She is turning her vehicle specifically to shoot you in the head for being a baby back bitch. It is hysterical. I love it to death. Speaking of that Gatling cannon, it is 24-inch range, 12 shots, 501, same as the Hippogriffs. And then she also has 2 Perfectus heavy stubbers. It means it's strength 5, which is rapid fire 3. So basically, she has 24 shots coming out of her of chaff clearing. Also, ballistic skill 3 instead of 4. A little better. So that's 24 chaff shots coming out of a pretty fast profile. No assault, but you can give themselves move. So there's also that. But we don't care about that. We actually care about the melee profile here. So you've got Power Sword and Manus Mortis. I believe the Manus Mortis is her Power Glove. By Power Glove, I mean Power Fist. And it is 5 attacks hitting on 2s at 6/2/2 Lance. Now, mind you, this is really good. Actually hysterically good. Because where is Yarick? There's Yarick. Because Yarick hits with 4 attacks at 8/2/2. She hits with 5 attacks at 6/2/2 Lance. Now, granted, she's a vehicle in this scenario, but even her normal version is 6/2/2 with 5 attacks on 2s. Very funny that she, against a large amount of targets, hits better than Commissar Yarick. Unfortunately, I guess Yarick is just still working out the power claw a little bit, and she's got the, relic from the Dark Ages power fist that's meant for a human that was stored in the Shadowkeeper's vaults and yada yada MacGuffin, the classic Warhammer style. An unironically very solid damaging profile for the tank. Also, her crew gets 10 attacks at 301, and the hull gets 3 more attacks. So she's swinging at you with 18 attacks. 5 of them are actually genuinely solid. And if that isn't enough for you, she also does charge mortals. On a 2 and a 3, it's D3 mortals. On a 4 through 5, it's flat 3. And on a 6, it's D3 plus 3 charge mortals. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Bricky, could I combine that with tank shock? You can. However, she is only T8. Therefore, tank shock is still... Tank shock, they didn't change that, right? Tank shock is still your toughness, right? God damn, I gotta go to core rules to figure this out. I might even get playing Wahapedia as a gift. It really is. All right, stratagems. Tank shock. I don't remember if I'm doing it right because I haven't done tank shock in a while. Tank shock. Vehicle unit. Roll number. Yeah, times the characteristic. It's like vehicle ball. Yeah, that's right. Oh, right. It used to be, I think, a certain number originally, and then that was too strong with like penitent engines and things. But yeah, so it would only be 8 dice on 5-ups, which on average is 2 to 3 mortals. So it's like fine, but you're not getting a ton. That being said, you can punk someone with both of those for like 6 mortals maybe. before you start swinging, which is really funny. Yeah, so like Commissar Graves, I won't lie, she's definitely nowhere near as powerful as Yarick is. She also is, the 4-up invul save is pretty darn good, but you know, T8, 3-up, 4-up, 12 wounds on a non-lone op anything, you know, she could still definitely get blasted with enough dedicated firepower. You might lose Commissar Graves pretty quickly. She also is not a transport, she's just straight up a hero, so the Graves that gets out is a totally other model. She doesn't jump out like Canis Rex, you just run one or the other, either Commissar Graves on foot or Commissar Graves. You pick one or the other. Now, Commissar Graves on foot is a much more understandable profile. 3-up, 4-up with a 5-up invul, that's more normal. 4 wounds, cool, that's fine. This is more expected than the Yarrick stuff, but I guess Yarrick's a bigger guy, whatever. He's got the fucking claw and he's, you know, just lives through everything. She runs all of the usual types of stuff you can follow. And then she still punks you with her fist at 622, 5 attacks. No lance, though. No lance, because she's not ramming into you with the vehicle. I will say, she still does the same orders, but she does have eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. And of course, the usual 12-inch blast someone battle shock. I think we need to really look at the shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back thing. I do not think many people understand how good that is. In guard, do you know how many fallback and do stuff things we have? One. I maybe there's a stratagem or some like other bullshit I don't remember. Actually, I can think of one already. I think the Adeline Rough Riders. I think they can fall back and do stuff. Or maybe it's the Death Riders. No, Death Riders have a reactive move. Yes, okay, sorry. The Rough Riders can as well. So it's like 2. Maybe I'm missing another one. But the other one was a Cadian Castellan. But Cadian Castellan was fallback and shoot. Just fallback and shoot. Getting fallback, shoot, and charge is actually really good. So okay, let me back up real quick. Commissar Graves in her Pimp Mobile and Mr. Plow is awesome. This is a hysterical model. It does not seem to be very good in terms of like overall rules. It is fine. It is no Yarick in terms of power. This is a fun, cool unit that seems awesome, that isn't going to be too ridiculous unless there is some insane mechanized spearhead crap that I don't know about with her special rule. This is literally charge me closer, I need to hit them with my sword, the model, and that is its gameplay loop. Its gameplay loop is run up, here's like 24 shots, or 24 shots to the face on all of your chaff. Also, by the way, coming over the top, and I'm going to beat the crap out of you with 18 attacks. Hitting it like not that bad. Also a bunch of charged mortals. It is a hysterical unit. This is not a guard tank. This is an orc tank. And this is an orc data sheet right now with some random. Remember when I said earlier that guard is more of a brute force thing when it comes to the Hippogriff? This is exactly what it is. This is a melee vehicle for guard, and I cannot stress how hysterical that is. However, I think Commissar Graves on foot might actually be a better model. Points, depending, because you know what's like the best list right now is like Recon Guard, where you take like 300, no, not that much. It's more like 180 infantry bodies. You know what makes Recon Guard really, really good? Also in like Grizzled and stuff, the fact that you just have so much combination shooting and melee presence and a billion OC right now that you can bounce around everywhere. If I'm not mistaken, you can run in your 20-man of Cadian shock troops, also a command squad with Graves in it. So now your 20, and then like throw an Ogren bodyguard in there. Next thing you know, you have a genuinely I mean, how do I put this? Commissar Graves is, let's just say it's Grizzled Company. Let's say it's Grizzled. Is 5 attacks at 622, rerolling 1s, hitting on 2s. And then you've got 2 more Power Fists in the Cadian Command Squad for 6 more attacks at 622, hitting on, I believe, 3, with mixed bayonets, 3s, rerolling 1s, and then you can stick an Ogren Bodyguard in there. Now, that's really good for Grizzled. If you're in Recon, then you get a reactive move of 6 inches, you have a -2 to charge, and then you can run up, fire all your guns, beat their ass in melee, and then fall back and shoot and charge. Like, I don't think you realize how insanely good that is in a 20 brick of guardsmen. In Recon Guard, this is terrifying to me. I feel like she'll be way better on foot because she actually hits in melee. She's got, like, you know, some decent orders, not all the good orders, but some decent orders. And she gives you one thing that Guard just don't have, which is shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which you fell back for big squads. The Castellan gives you sus 1, which is good, but the Castellan gives you, it gives you some regular orders, but it gives you shoot and fall back, not charge, and its Power Fist is not as good as hers is. So, I mean, I imagine she might be like 80 points on the floor, like probably 80, maybe give or take 80, 70 or 80. But I think she's going to be really good. So here's the thing. The Foot Graves, competitive option. Very good. Great stat line. Awesome. Commissar Graves in the vehicle, the aura option for real aura farming chads who want to Mr. Plow someone into oblivion. Points withstanding, of course. This could be like so underpointed that it becomes the competitive option. But yeah. Honestly, it's actually rather interesting. I actually personally think that these guard models are showing a bit more restraint than we've seen. Wazdaka is insanely good, like the best orc data sheet I've ever seen. Commissar Yarick is insane with his abilities and stuff. This is like, with the exception of Graves on foot, this is a bit more relaxed, personally. I can totally see like Hippogriffs being busted if the points are too low or whatever, and I can totally see some other issues there, but like, this is a bit more chill. This is pretty good. I like this. This feels a bit more in line with what I was hoping for these kinds of units. So I give a thumbs up. I give a thumbs up. Yeah, but anyway, thanks for watching. 2 videos in a day for this kind of stuff. I hope, please, the new Sisters model. I think we're just missing the new Sisters model and the Imperial Agent guy. And I guess some Kill Team stuff. Oh, there's the Red Terror and things. That's right. Screw it. I said I wasn't going to do videos for all of these, but I'm having a good time with it, so screw it. We'll just keep going. I want to see the sister. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you around. Have a good one.